Well, good morning, folks. Jason here from God Conversations. Just want to take a little sidestep from what we're doing and talk about yesterday and today. Just what's happening in my life. Yesterday was my oldest son's 17th birthday, and if you don't know, I have two nonverbal autistic boys, medium functioning. And yesterday was a really cool day. We had two drive-bys, and what I mean by that is if you're watching this, it was COVID season. And so you can't really have birthday parties, but first drive-by was people from Riley's High School, teachers, school police officers, and a bunch of students, mostly girls. And they all came to see Riley. And our local hockey team is the Medicine Hat Tigers, and this is WHL, Western Hockey League. It's basically almost farm team. It's not farm team, but it's, people go from here next up to the NHL. And the Tigers gave Riley an autographed hockey stick by all the players. And the Tigers have sent many players to the NHL that won the Stanley Cup. So this might become something of great value to him. Then, 2 hours later, we had another drive-by. A bunch of people from our church. Wonderful time. We had supper. And we prayed over Riley, that Riley would grow closer with God this year in his relationship, and that God would use him. Last night, I'm just relaxing from the day, and Riley takes his Bible, tells me he's going downstairs to have his quiet time with God, which is great, really good. My morning routine is I'll get up, go to our local convenience store, grab a coffee, come home, and have my quiet time. My younger son, who is 14, I found him in my spot at the table, having his quiet time at 6:30 in the morning. Really cool. Now, on top of that, about 5 weeks ago, I'm part of a group on Facebook called Reformed Library, and something came up to ask if I would be a mentor. I said, sure. And I filled out a profile and left it. It was just maybe a week later, I get contacted by a man named Samuel, who is a Pakistani living in Pakistan, and he is a missionary. He asked me if I would mentor him. Sure. So we've been mentoring for 5 weeks, so maybe this happened 6 or 7 weeks ago, but we've been mentoring for 5 weeks. And this morning, I got another mentor request from a guy in Georgia who's wanting to plant a church. I'm thinking, okay, God, what are you doing? And I'm looking at this, and I'm wondering if God, I don't know, I'm just wondering right now, what if God is putting me into a ministry where it is training missionaries? I don't know. But maybe that's something that you could pray with me about. So I'm going to meet with this guy, his name is Derek, on Saturday morning over Facebook Messenger video. We'll see if we're a fit for mentoring. He feels that he needs to plant a church, but he doesn't know how to. really kind of interesting. Where are you seeing God work in your life? It may not be a mentoring ministry by any means, but are you paying attention to what God's doing? See, God's always speaking to you. He'll speak primarily through the Bible, but then people start coming into your life. And how is God using you in their lives? God desperately wants to use you. Why? Because that's how he builds relationship with you. There's a difference between knowing God in the Bible and knowing God through the Bible by obedience and watching God work through you. And as God works through you, you get to know him in a deeper way. And I'm excited about that. I really am. So, you've heard me talk about the Bible study, experiencing God. I go back to that a lot, mostly because it is a great tool to see where God is working in your life and how to get to know him more through him working through you. Not you working for him, but him working through you. And there's 7 realities to experiencing God. Number 1, God is always at work around you. Number 2, God pursues a real, intimate, loving relationship with you. A lot of people think that starts and stops at the cross. No, it starts at the cross. But this relationship will be an eternal relationship where you get to know God deeper and deeper and deeper. And the way you do this is by walking with him and letting him work through you. Number 3, God invites you to join him in his work. It's his work, not your work. It's his work. Number 4, God speaks. God speaks through the Bible. And you have to filter everything that God says through the Bible. And what do I mean by that? Well, God speaks in 4 ways, primarily through the Bible. Second, he speaks through prayer. Jesus says, watch and pray. So as you're praying, watch to see what God's doing. 3, he'll speak through circumstances. I have 2 missionaries asking me to mentor them. Do you think this is from Satan? Nope. Number 4, God speaks through the church. And when all 4 of those things line up, you know it's really God speaking when it comes to his mission. Like nowhere in the Bible will you see it say, Jason, mentor missionaries through Facebook Messenger video. You'll never see that. But yet God's still speaking and saying, look, I'm putting 2 missionaries in your life. I want you to mentor them through Facebook video. So after God speaks, the 5th reality is you need to adjust your life a little bit. If there's a sin in your life, you need to bring that to mortality, right? You need to kill it. Maybe you have to adjust your schedule a little bit. Get up a little bit earlier. With me, I got to get up a little bit earlier now. The next thing is there'll be a crisis of belief. What God is asking you to do might be too overwhelming for you, and you think, God, I can't do it. And when you read in the Bible, God always asks people to do something that they are not qualified to do, and it is too overwhelming for them. Why does he do that? Like, for example, Gideon. He went after, 20,000 men? Was 300 people? That's overwhelming. It's a crisis of belief. God, if I don't do this, I'm dead. Or, God, this won't happen because we don't have enough funds, we don't have enough people, we don't, nothing. Okay? See, God is taking you to this place where you are going to need to take a faith step. Hebrews says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. So, now you have a decision to make. Are you going to obey or are you not? And if you choose to obey, God then does the work through you. And when God does the work through you, you experience God in a new and different way, which grows your relationship. And the cycle starts all over again. And for me, this is a little scary because I'm not used to mentoring missionaries. It's a new endeavor for me. But it's kind of cool. What's God asking you to do? Where's God working in your life? Put it down in your comments. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.